Good evening, beloved. I hope you had a wonderful day of execution. And this is the seventh day. And I'm really excited because by tomorrow morning, we are announcing our first winner for this challenge. I need a drum roll. So, we've been talking a lot about identity, and identity is really key to having change or achievements that are permanent. You see, if the identity is not improved, upgraded, or changed for the better, you can occasionally do awesome things, wonderful things, but if the identity is not changed permanently, you will get back to your default position, which then makes you get results that you really don't want to have. It's the same problem with people that taking whatever, abusing stuff. It's the same thing with people that are addicted to things. Sometimes they may occasionally, be strong and say, I'm not taking this. And then eventually they go back to it because the identity is the one that pushes them to do things on a regular basis. So I've got a few questions that I want you to ask yourself so that you can be able to help yourself to re-engineer your identity. What identity have I been unconsciously living from? And how has it shaped my current results? So you need to go back and just ask yourself this question. What identity have you lived with? I will give you a good example. Normally what happens is that when you try something, sometimes you don't come right. You may fail. And you try again. And then you fail again. And then you try again for the third time. So these are events that have happened on the outside. That is not who you are. So the biggest problem we have is we are emotional human beings. We tend to personalize those failures and we call ourselves a failure. The problem of calling yourself a failure is that that becomes the identity with which you walk with. So you need to get to a place where you understand that first, if you need to be successful in anything, you need to try to do it. And you must try to do it with this knowledge that often your first attempts will result in failure. They will not be perfect, but that does not matter. Perfection comes through execution. And you need to realize that when you fail, that's not your identity. This is just an event. So what am I saying? I'm saying failure is not a person. Failure is an event. And you don't have to identify with failure when you try something and you don't get the results that you are looking for. Failure is an event and failure is not a person. So don't identify with the negatives that are happening in your life. You need to identify with where you want to go, where you want to end up at. So second question that I have is, which habits in my life are failing because they are built on top of an outdated identity? Sometimes you may be carrying an outdated identity. You're no longer fearful. You're no longer a failure. But even though you have really done wonderful things, I've seen people that are doing well in their lives, but if you know them from way back, they always walk with this identity that is almost like an inferiority complex, irrespective of what they have accomplished in their lives. It's because they are walking or moving with an identity that is outdated, and that is dangerous, especially if that identity does not serve you, does not help you get to where you want to get to. Number 3, where does my self-image contradict the life I'm trying to build? Self-explanatory. You need to make sure that your self-image is in line with your goals and does not contradict the life that you are trying to build. What is one belief, number 4, about myself that I know must die for my future to live? That's a deep question you need to answer for yourself. You might have beliefs of being inadequate. You might have beliefs because you failed in the past, or someone told you that you're not good enough, you don't deserve success. Forget all that and make sure you build a belief about yourself that is relevant to what you want to become in the future. So you need to learn how to build beliefs. And beliefs are built by what we profess, what we confess most of the time. So you need to continuously profess or confess that which you want to become until you become it. What identity do I fall back into during stress, pressure, or discomfort? You need to answer this question so that you can make sure that the identity that you fall back into is not a depressing one. It's not one that you don't really want. You must build an identity that goes through the stress and the pressure and the discomfort without getting depressed. That's very important. And most of the things you need to do to be able to get yourself out of those situations is what you tell yourself. Be careful what you tell yourself. Tell yourself that which you want to become, not that which you are currently at. It doesn't matter that you are in the pit, you are the prime minister of Egypt. It doesn't matter that you're currently in the pit or you're currently serving some kind of a Potiphar somewhere else. You must profess that you are the king, you are the prime minister, you are someone who is bigger than you currently are. There's a song that we used to sing, and it's a gospel song, but it's in Zulu, that really says that our issue doesn't get settled here, it gets settled in the heavens. It's quite a good song to sing because what it tells you is that I might be down now, but my issue doesn't end with me being down and on the floor. I will rise. The Bible says that a righteous man may fall 7 times, but 7 times he rises again. I'm paraphrasing. That's not the exact quote. What evidence have I accumulated that proves I'm capable of becoming someone greater? I gave you my example with the maths issues that I had when I was starting my secondary school, that by accident, I accumulated evidence that proved that maths was not as difficult as I had assumed it to be. And therefore, even up to now, I have no problems with mathematics, not because I was born naturally good at it, but because that incident was evidence that I accumulated that proved to me that maths is not as difficult as I thought it was. Who is the future version of me, and what habits, attitudes, and standards would they never negotiate on? So you need to be able to think deeply about this. Your future version should have certain habits, should have certain attitudes, especially attitudes to do with failure, attitudes to do with asking, attitude to do with standards. I can tell you, I'm trying to build my YouTube channel. And I can tell you today, I asked probably close to 20 people that I probably don't closely speak to, but I send them messages. Some of them I call them and I ask them, will you please subscribe to our YouTube channel? We're trying to build it. So you need to build the habits that and attitudes and standards that that are characterized by your future vision, and don't negotiate on those habits. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't fall down and mop on the floor when things don't go your way. Sometimes things will go wrong. That doesn't matter. You need to have an attitude of going on. What stories about myself have I repeated for years that are no longer true? You need to ask yourself that question and stop repeating those stories. What would change immediately if I fully believed I was already becoming a very high value asset? You need to ask yourself that question. It's important. Once you understand what would change, make sure you change it. so that you can be able to have momentum towards your goals. How would I act today if I already embodied the identity I want? This is a very important question. The way you are acting at the moment is because you have not yet understood, it hasn't come clear to you yet what you are becoming. Therefore, you are acting like what you were yesterday or what you feel today. You must ask yourself this question and say, if I was a successful YouTuber, how would I act? And begin to act that way today. If I was I had a fit body, how would I act? How would I walk? And begin to take that walk and that pace today so that it can encourage you to continue in the path that you have taken. How would I act if I had a book published? So begin to act, to begin to think about such things so that you can remain on course. I hope this is beneficial for you. This issue of identity, it's a big issue. It's not going to be finished in one video that's 10 minutes or 11 minutes, but I'm opening the eyes for you. You need to research it further. You need to build your identity. Make sure you re-engineer your identity. Find books that will be able to help you with this. Find coaches and find whether videos, find podcasts that help you with identity re-engineering. See you tomorrow in the next video as we announce our winner for the first 7 days. I'm excited. You must also be excited. Please share this challenge with some other people. Share this challenge with your friends, with your relatives. It's getting exciting now because we have got our first winner. It's gonna be announced tomorrow morning. Thank you very much.